Hello, folks. This is Dr. Rich. I'm going to be giving you guys some insight about teacher engagement, and I've had a lot of people ask me, how do you get kids to sign up for your class, or not kids? How do you get people to sign up for your classes? Why do you have full classes? Why do people, what do you do? What is it that you do in there? And I've got 5 tips if you want to hear them. If you don't, I understand. But I've got 5 tips that can help you with the engagement of your students. Student engagement really is the name of the game now in teaching. The old school way of I say you do and I talk you listen is kind of going out of the way here, and it's not going to really be anything that students want to hear anymore, especially in community colleges. Now, I'm coming from the standpoint of speaking at community colleges or teaching at community colleges, because community colleges, we have a slightly different demographic than you folks do at universities. So I'm strictly talking about being a better an engaging professor in community colleges. All right. So number one, I'm gonna give you 5 tips. All right. I hope you take them down. Number one, learn their names on day 1. Learn their names on day 1. If you can't do it day 1, do it by day 2 or the first week of class. Learn all of your students' names. And I'm going to tell you why. When you go to a store that you like, Kroger or Macy's or wherever you shop, and the person who works at the store actually greets you with your name, that makes you feel kind of good, doesn't it? I think so. And since you're going to be spending the next 4 months, if it's a full 16-week semester, you're going to spend 4 months with these people twice a week. It'd be good to know their names. And what does this do for the student? Well, the student feels like, wow, the professor cared enough about me to learn my name. I don't care what you have to do. Take a roll, write it down, put something on your podium as far as where everybody sits. It doesn't really matter. If you have to use placards for the first day, you can do that too. But however you need to do it, make sure that when you address your students, you address them by name. When they come in, you greet them and you learn their names. The first thing you do, learn your students' names. That way, that's the first introduction. That's the first thing that you do to start introducing them to who you are and introducing them to the class. Just think about it, professors. Everybody else you talk to, when you shake their hand, you learn their name. If it's somebody new, you say, hi, my name is so-and-so. What is your name? And that gives and every time you see that person, you should call them by their name. Don't you like being called by your name? Think about that. Number 2, learn to ask great questions. Learn to ask great questions. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, since I'm the professor, I'm the one that should be, they're the ones that should be asking me questions. Well, yeah, not really. You're the one that needs to make sure that you foster a great relationship with your students, in the sense of you're the professor, they're the student, but in the grand scheme of things, they're just grown-ups just like you, especially in community college. You might have someone in there your age, and trying to not let them shine or not understanding anything about them, that doesn't work. Everything is a relationship. Whether you're dealing with the person that you buy a car from, whether you're dealing with the person you buy shoes from, whether you're dealing with your child's teacher or your spouse or your significant other, everything is a relationship. And a lot of times when people hear the word relationship, they think in a romantic nature. No, I'm not talking about a romantic nature, especially in a classroom. I'm talking about a relationship, relating two people, having a common union, having communication, understanding how to talk to each other. That's what you need to have with your students if you want to be an engaging professor that everybody seeks out over the semesters. If you're just teaching to get a paycheck, quit. That's just how I feel about it, because you don't really want to teach. Number 3, check your ego at the door. Check your ego at the door. Why am I saying this? Everybody knows you're Dr. So-and-so. Everybody knows you have an MBA. Everybody knows, well, they like to know that the school did the due diligence enough to assign this class to you to tell them that you are their professor. Okay? All right. So what I like to do is check my ego at the door, meaning you don't have to tell them that you're Dr. So-and-so every single day. They can read it on the syllabus. And if you want to do that, do it in the first 2 days, when everybody does the drops and whatever, and they come back and they give you more information, or they come back and they actually sign up to your class, then, that's fine. But check your ego at the door, because I'll tell you what, I've had classes, I've been teaching in community colleges for about 9 years now, and I found that I've had people in my class with bachelor's degrees, and we're at a community college. I've had people in my class with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. So, I've never had a PhD in my class, but if I did, I would still teach them too. But you have to understand that you're dealing with grown-ups. Then they have kids and jobs and problems and grown-up stuff. I'm not talking about some of the things that you see with the 17, 18, 19-year-old students. I'm talking about grown-up, hey, I have to pay my bills, I have to go to work, I have to go to class, I have to deal with this person up front that's telling me about how great they are. Yeah, no. When you're teaching adults, don't try to teach them like you teach children. They're not children. Quit that. That's one of the number one problems that we see in community colleges, and probably in universities, is when professors try to teach grown-ups or adults like you teach children. It's not pedagogy, people. It's andragogy. Learn that. Number 4, show your students you care. Show your students that you care. Now, how do you do this? Well, you ask about them. Let them shine. Give them the mic. Let them talk. Find out who they are. You have somebody sitting in your classroom for 16 weeks at a time, at least 4 hours or 3 hours. Let me see, 1.5, 2 hours, 2.5 hours a week. And you're sitting with these people and they're listening to you talk. Why don't you let them talk? Yes, you can still deliver class material. You can still do things that everybody else does, but let these people shine. You need to kind of make sure that your students understand that they're people too, and not just students. You're not the Mun-High professor, and they're not the lowly student, because a lot of times when you listen to your students, you find out, that's probably somebody that could probably help me with something I need to do, or that actually helps someone else that I know. So it kind of builds your network to help you, and it also communicates to the student that when you think that they're important too, they try harder and they do well, and it's easier for you to teach in that class. Trust me. And 5, this is critical, especially now when we're talking about when we're in the age of social media and electronic tools and things of that nature to impart knowledge or for educational delivery. Lose the PowerPoint slides. Lose them. Stop teaching with PowerPoint slides. I can't. This is one of Dr. Rich's pet peeves. Stop using PowerPoint slides to teach your class. Research shows that PowerPoint slides are ineffective when teaching adults. They don't teach adults anything. They just let them read the slide. And if you are going to use a PowerPoint slide, don't read the slides to the students. Now, I'm a professor that comes from corporate America, okay? All of my pedigree is in management and organization and leadership, and the things that I worked on were mostly IT projects, IT program management. The last thing that people want to know is that you think that they're stupid and they can't read, and you read the slide to them. Just sit there and think about that. If you were sitting in a classroom, would you want the teacher to put a slide up and then read you the slide? If you're going to be an effective professor, you already have it up here, and you have the book in front of you. Teach from the book. Step away from the podium. Now, I'm not telling you to not use electronic means. I'm a big person on electronic means. If you have a learning management system, whether it's Canvas or Blackboard, put your exams out on Blackboard. Put Put the PowerPoints on Blackboard. Hell, use an electronic book. These are the things that the new students want. These new younger students who are tech savvy, they don't want to come in a class and look at a PowerPoint slide, and they really don't want to hear you go blah, 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 blah. That's what it sounds like. If any of you are old enough to see Charlie Brown, it's this Charlie Brown in class when the teacher was going womp, 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 womp. In all the Charlie Brown episodes, you never heard what the teacher was saying. And I think that Charles Schulz did this because he wanted to communicate to grown-ups what we sound like to children if we don't stimulate their minds. And this is the same thing that happens with our students. If you refuse to stimulate their minds by using the same techniques you used 30 years ago in colleges, you're not going to be effective. You're going to see that your enrollment drops, and you're not going to be the professor of choice. If you want to be a professor of choice and, I don't know, still have a job in your school, to where people ask you to come back and teach and ask you to go to different places to guest lecture, you're going to have to make up your mind to change and be able to engage with the new student demographic of millennials who want to be connected to you. They want to be social. They want to be tech savvy, and they want to be taught something that they don't know, that they couldn't get on their own. Hey, that's my time. If you want to contact me, my link is in my bio. I'm on Instagram at DocRichSpeaks, DocRichSpeaks. If you want to reach me, you can hit www.prestonrich.com, and whatever social media platform you use, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, it's the same thing. At DocRichSpeaks. I would love to come to your school and talk about student engagement and give you some of the stories of the places that I've taught and the classes that I've taught and the instances that I've taught, and give you some of my experiences. And I guarantee you, it is edutainment, people. If you don't believe me, check Rate My Professor and look at all of the things that my students say. And Dr. Rich is a little nuts. No, I'm not nuts. I just like to make sure that these people are entertained and they're not falling asleep in the class. If people fall asleep in the class, they don't sign up for it anymore, and sometimes they even drop. Hey, that's my time. I'm Doc Rich. Peace.